Trickle, trickle.
Trickle, trickle, trickle indeed. So I've noticed, Purz, your last couple of streams, you've sort of gone back to basics.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of questions of like very basic stuff, whereas a lot of my streams and stuff are advanced and intermediate concepts and workflows. So I figured I'll do a series on very basic beginner stuff for like setting up Comfy, doing images and things like that, animation basics, things like that. And then when people have questions, I can just throw them a timestamp to that part of the video. And then they can just jump around and so hopefully just solve their way out of the issue instead of me having to hold their hand for 2 hours.
Yeah, cool, nice.
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
cool. And yeah.
so people are starting to come in. I'm just going to put something in the chat, and then we'll start this off.
Right on. Everything you guys are seeing is the forum.
Okay. All right. Okay. It is my time, 11:02. So, and I'm a stickler for starting on time. So we will start right now. Okay. All right. So, hello, wherever, whenever, and whoever you are. Um, welcome to our first, I think it's a first. I've only been on the Deorum Discord for like a year and a half. I'm not sure if this is the first, but it feels like the first. But this is the our more than likely first Deorum Discord AMA, and hopefully the first of many. Um, I'm Function Render Dream, also known as Andy XR, on the Deorum Discord server. I've been around a little while, helping out and modding and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so today we have an AMA, and I first came across Purz when I was smashing my head against Comfy UI, desperately trying to get to grips with it and its way of working. And because I come from the world of Deorum, Comfy was a bit of a mind melt, and I found his live streams and his tutorials. They were like super essential in getting me on my Comfy journey, at least. And he's clearly someone that really enjoys sharing knowledge, from using like Blender to getting into the weeds of Animate Diff. And if any of you have tuned into his streams, you'll know that he's always up for experimentation, and he'll navigate into dead ends and back out and try stuff that doesn't work, and which I guess is something that we can all relate to because we've all bashed our heads against AI animations numerous times. But I think sometimes that's where the magic happens, right? So in the top right, there's a chat icon. You can open up the chat screen, and you can put your questions in the chat screen there, and we'll moderate those, and we'll pick out questions which look pretty nice. And additionally, you can also raise your hand if you want to speak. There's like a hand icon, I think, in the top right hand of the UI. So if you raise your hand, I'll keep an eye on those, and I will invite you to speak. An invite will appear at the top of the screen, and you accept that, and then you can ask your question using your voice. And this will be about 45 minutes. We'll see how it goes. So welcome, Purz. How you doing?
Great. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm doing great.
So Purz, there's probably a few people that may not know who you are. So would you be kind enough to give us a minute as to who you are, what you're up to, and why we've got you on here?
Sure. I am a musician and visual artist, 3D artist, and AI animation specialist. I've been doing Deorum since it basically came out, and yeah, just been on the forefront of this stuff for, as pretty much as long as it's been out. And I like to share my knowledge and skills and teach everybody else what to do. So I run a YouTube channel called Creative Exploration where we dig in. We try out the latest stuff and animate it. And all the stuff everybody has to do by themselves, but I'm there to help.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, and definitely help is what you give. So it's I'm always enjoying like tuning into the live streams normally after they're live because I'm in bed when you're broadcasting. But yeah, they've definitely been a help. So yeah, I really want to thank you for that stuff. It's a hell of a journey, right? And it's always good to like see what other people are up to. So we've got quite a few people joining on now. Everyone's streaming in, which is
Holy
good. Look at
cow.
that. Oh, God.
Good Lord.
What's happened here? So those of you that have just joined us, we've got Purz for our first AMA. Please use the chat to pose any questions. Alternatively, you can use the hand icon top right to raise your hand, and I will keep an eye on those, and I can invite you to speak, and you can speak to Purz and ask your question. So whilst we are waiting for the first question, I've got a couple lined up to get things warmed up. All right. So Purz. Okay. So
Yes.
probably like the majority of us, I suspect AI wasn't your first entry into animating stuff. Can you tell us kind of how you got into animation and how it's
Yeah.
got, and where it's got to now?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I guess it goes way back to when I was a little kid. There was a Commodore 64 program called Logo, and you would use it to like use math to draw lines. We're all just like obsessed with that. Um, oh, sorry, I think I lost my Discord here. Are we back? Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, Logo, and then after Logo, I started getting into like making animations with like Basic, and then like old Commodore 64 nerd stuff, and then just sort of followed that. Got into graphic design, making all the visuals and stuff for all my bands and things like that, and then yeah, I got into like VJing and making stuff for that, for doing like live shows, live visuals for audio reactive stuff. And yeah, everything all just serves sort of that revolving door of learning skills to make cooler stuff to play behind us while we play. And then pandemic happened and live music died basically. So yeah, I just been focused on making visuals for streams and other things now, and music videos and whatnot, whatever I feel like, and my own art too. It's just like processing and moving through all these tools, you end up making a lot of really interesting stuff just by experimentation.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And in fact, one thing that piqued my interest in what you said is that with your background in like music and music production, do you ever get a chance to merge these like the two disciplines of AI animation and music, either your music or other people's? Have you been doing a lot of that recently?
Yeah, so I've been making a lot of loops with Animate Diff, and I've been working on this, sort of concept that's based on stuff that Spencer is doing, Sir Spence, on Twitter, where it's basically interpolating the footage and then using Touch Designer to speed it up and slow it down, and use different video effects and stuff to combine them to essentially make a live video sampler. So yeah, right now I'm just making all the samples and loops for that, and then I'm gonna build that out, and I'd like to have that. Yeah, thanks for posting his Twitter. Yeah, you got to check out Spence's stuff. It's mind-bogglingly good. So yeah, I've taken a lot from what he's up to right now, and trying to get this AI stuff into the real time world without having to do AI in real time, because that's hard.
Yeah, yeah, it is hard. Although I must admit, we had our first in-person exhibition in London. Human came over, and actually a mix came over. A whole bunch of people came over to London, and we did our first exhibition. And Human rolled out the man. You have to remind me what it's called, Human, in the chat. But he rolled out his machine that did real time. It would listen via microphone. Yeah, the Dream machine. So he hooked up a microphone, and as people spoke, it was rendering real time what they were speaking. Um, so yeah, it's getting close, but audio reactivity is maybe a week off, maybe, or maybe two.
Well, it's cool. With his, you can make audio reactive masks in real time with Touch Designer, which it's great at. So, like, I don't know if he posted actually some audio reactive tests that are just so cool. Like, it's blooming flowers to the beat and stuff. It's really really cool.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I have to check that out, definitely. Okay.
Hmm.
In lieu of still waiting for some questions, everyone, if you do have any questions for Purz, please just put them in there, or else you're just going to hear me ask lots of questions. You're going to get bored of that really quickly. So feel free to put them in there. But let me move on to something else at the moment. So I must admit that having entered this sort of community, I guess relatively recently, like in the past 18 months, I've been humbled by like the number of amazing like creators that are out there that are willing to share their skills. What's your experience of this community been like?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, the only the only rough stuff are the the AI haters, and that's just to be expected. So, um, yeah, just navigating as best I can. But the actual community is fantastic. Everybody's just sharing knowledge constantly. We all now understand that we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, I think, and it's sort of like, everything is iterative, and we're all just building out, our versions of workflows that already exist. Our refinements are little tweaks here and there. This is Nobody's out here on their own building, really. So that's what I really like about this scene. It feels like an early music scene or something where everyone's just trying to get it off the ground, working together. It's been good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, we got a couple. All right, so bot heads. Are there any repos of masks for use with Difforum? If not, how can I make them without After Effects like tools?
Yes. Safety Mark dropped his motion default settings there, so you can use those. It's full of masks. Um, they work really good. We did a stream about it a couple weeks ago. And if you want to make them, I have a couple Blender tutorials on how to make them with shaders. Making your own mask is easy and fun. Highly recommend it. I'm a big shader nerd. I like making shaders, so I like making masks. It's all just math and colors, so um, yeah, get out there and have fun. After Effects works too. You just want your masks to loop. I guess with Deforum, it doesn't matter as much because the loop won't loop, but with Animate Diff, you want them to loop because then your animation will loop. But with Deforum, you can make whatever you want. The mask, you don't have to worry about it looping because it won't loop when it flips around anyway.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And also we've got another one about what's your favorite tool? No, sorry, that was my question. There's another question here, which is your favorite video games growing up. We're definitely jumping around the random space.
My favorite video games growing up, oh, all of them. I played everything. Played everything I get my hands on. I am big, super number one video game nerd, especially retro gaming. Deep into emulation for years and years. Yeah, I would say all the early Commodore stuff, all the early Nintendo stuff, Super Nintendo, all the way up to like N64 is where I kind of dropped off, and then I got back on around PS2 again. A little bit of PlayStation, but yeah, just like everything. I love game design. I love like game concepts. I love game art. I love the music. I love everything about it. So I just like to study games. It's really hard to pick favorites. Such a lazy answer, but yeah, I love everything.
I was never convinced that you were old enough to have a Commodore 64, but clearly you
Yeah.
are.
Oh yeah.
Although I actually cut my teeth on I'm not sure if you had them in North America, but we had this company called Sinclair, and they made the ZX80, which was like it had something like half a K of RAM, and
Hmm.
that was my first entry into computing, and it had like black and white graphics, and it was just characters rather than graphics and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you can age me based on that.
No, that's cool.
We've got here, any thoughts about the commercialization of the art, of the AI art space? I mean, which is a good question, because I was thinking about that, how you were saying, and how I guess everyone here loves the fact that this whole space is about sharing and, building upon what others have done and getting help from others. But at what point do you feel that this is going to become a place where people are going to want to make money from it?
Yeah. I think if you want to monetize these workflows going forward, it's best to cut in everybody you can, which is, I understand, hypocritical from even a base point of view, because how do we cut in all the artists that of the stuff that was trained on? So maybe the fact that we don't have rights to the stuff in the first place means we don't have rights to the tools. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand it on that level. Um, the only thing I would like to see is the people that make the custom nodes, the people that make the software we use, the people that work on the workflows, just get some sort of cut of whatever you're making, weaponizing GPUs to do this stuff. Um, I think it's really cool to give people access to this stuff, to decentralize the tools off the cloud into other places. Being able to rent GPU time is a hell of a lot cheaper than going out and buying a 4090, especially if you've already bought a MacBook or something. I get that NVIDIA GPUs are expensive and annoying, and I do only deal mostly with local installs, but a lot of what I teach is also available on the cloud. So you don't always have to rely on a service to do these things also. So it really depends on, yeah, this is a totally meandering answer. Um, I guess it depends. For me, I'm all about weaponizing, like people charging people to use GPUs, but cutting in the authors of the stuff that you're you're using. If you're not building your own tools, you should be, offering some sort of pool uh split for the people that built the tools you're using. Uh
So
yeah.
isn't Banadoko trying to do something like that?
I believe
And
so, yeah.
sort of finding a way of being able to provide a cut to those people that are providing like hard worked on workflows and
Yeah, we'll
such.
see. Yeah, it should be good. I'm stoked for anybody who's at least attempting that at this point. You know what I mean? It's because we're the only way we're going to move forward as a community is if everybody, if nobody gets like stepped on, because you'll see a sharp decline in people willing to offer their stuff for free if companies just take it and charge money for it and cut everybody out.
Yeah. Okay. We've got some comments as well. Conspiracy Dojo's just want to thank you for all the video tutorials and your help. He says it's an incredible
Oh yeah,
community on
for
Twitter and he
sure.
appreciates you. It's always nice to hear that stuff. Thank you very much, Conspiracy Dojo. Okay, yeah, and also I was wondering though, because when I spoke to you before this, even though your streams are very much sort of based around comfy, what's your experience with Diffusion been? I mean, how long have you been using that? And would you dare compare?
Oh yeah. I love Deforum. I've been using Deforum since version 0.2 or 0.3 of like the notebook. Um, I love it. Everything that came into it was amazing. Depth, hybrid video, control net, all the stuff. Played with it all, made some amazing stuff with it. The thing I like the most about Deforum is the fact that since it goes frame by frame, if you want to do audio reactive stuff that just like rides keyframes and stuff like that, that is so much more powerful in Deforum, because you get that instant feedback of it changing enough, like strength or camera movements, things like that. If you want animations to follow the music, Deforum is really 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 good at that. um, what I like about Animate Diff is because of the way the context window system works, the animations don't flicker, they're very smooth, but the context flickers every sort of 16 frames or so. So it's a different kind of flicker. And then you lose a bit of the resolution of being able to audio react to stuff and do things like that, which is then mitigated by making audio reactive control net masks and using those to drive your animations. So, um, yeah, like I think there's a place for both. But me personally, I'm just like, I've been stuck in Animate Diff land for the last 6 months because yeah, I'm just it's mostly because of Comfy UI. I find Comfy UI to be the like just my favorite way of dealing with having access to everything in Diffusion. It's like being able to use automatic 1111, but you don't have to know Python, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And just I'm jumping around here. So we got something from Young Flow. He's asking you or the audience, is there a good place to follow the audio reactive generative AI stuff that has made progress lately? He's interested in tweets or tutorials about it.
Um, I've done a couple. There's not a lot because nothing has changed beyond what I've been saying is you've got to make audio reactive masks and then make those into videos. And there's lots of videos on how to make audio reactive masks. So go look up Blender tutorials on how to make audio reactive animations and then think about how you would turn that animation into a mask that you could use to drive motion. Because all you have to do essentially is either spit out the depth map or just place one light where your camera is and make all the materials white and turn off your environment. And then you'll have a depth map essentially of whatever you're doing in Blender. So look up some cool Blender tutorials for making nice, cool looking audio reactive things. Make masks out of those and then bring those masks into Comfy and make Diff runs with those masks, and you won't believe how cool it looks.
So I think what you've just said then sort of sings to what is the major difference between using Deorum, maybe combined with Parsec, and Comfy, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's largely because in Comfy it does everything in one batch, right? It takes all those settings and creates like a single sort of batch render, whereas in Deorum we're kind of doing it frame by frame, and audio activity is like easier. Is that a
Yeah,
fair summary, or have I missed something there?
no, that's right. And you can see sort of with the forum what your stuff is doing faster. You could kind of almost get real time feedback as you watch it frame by frame to see if your settings are out of whack and stuff like that. But yeah. Plus, I didn't even mention Parsec. You know, like Ruben. Yeah, Ruben made like the coolest thing for controlling Deforum. That doesn't exist for Animate Diff, right? So, uh, yeah, I don't know. There's two different beasts, and they're very different. Yeah.
Mm.
I've done great audio reactive stuff in Animate Diff. I've done great audio reactive stuff in Deforum. It's really about the style that you're looking for, because audio Animate Diff has a very smooth look to it. Like the background of my chat thing. That's Animate Diff. See, there's no flickering. It's just chill. Oh, Robin, my bad. Thought it was
Oh
Rubes.
yeah,
That's
and
why.
it's yeah, Rubes. That's
That's
yeah.
why.
Everyone calls him Rubes. No one calls him Robin. Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks for that. I mean, you're right, aren't you? Because there seems to be a lot more like temporal consistency with Comfy. Things don't seem to flicker so much. I'm doing rabbit ears right now, but you can't see me. But I know that when I was animating in Deforum, and I think a lot of other animators actually like that flicker sometimes. It kind of gives it a
Yeah.
feel. And then you
It's
see a
like
lot
a
of
flip
Comfy
book,
work.
like those old flip
Yeah,
books, the animations. It's a vibe. That's one of the things that drew me to the forum in the first place was that dreamy flicker. It's like film. It's like a dream. I love it.
yeah. Okay, another question from the chat from Retropunk. Purz, do you mostly use Comfy Straight or Pinocchio? And he says he likes Pinocchio, or she, but I sometimes wonder running Comfy Straight is better.
I prefer Pinocchio. It's not a shill or anything. I don't. Pinocchio doesn't make any money, but I like it because if you're using Pinocchio and you install Comfy and then you need to like install automatic 1111 for instance for like working with the forum, your model folders and stuff are all shared by default. Like there's a few little like quality of life things and like finding dependencies and stuff with Pinocchio I find to just work more consistently every time. So yeah, I prefer Pinocchio myself. But all it is a front end that handles the Python environments for you and makes a different Python environment for each thing that you install. So if you're out there and you want to try the stuff that came out like today, AI stuff that there isn't even tools for yet, Pinocchio is the way to do that because it'll just make a little environment for each toy and then you can just kill it when you're done playing with it. So you can try out all this crazy stuff that comes out every day.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for that answer. Sly.ai, Sly AI. Can you talk about real-time generation, possible real-time audio react? We did touch on it a
Yeah,
little bit, but
yeah. If you want real time audio reactivity, your choices are Touch Designer and signing up for Dot Simulate's Patreon and sorting out the stream diffusion stuff, because that is like the most killer thing right now if you want to do audio reactive stuff in real time. But you will need to learn Touch Designer. There's no shortcuts there. Uh, there are no shortcuts really to audio reactive stuff, except maybe Magic
yeah,
Music Visualizer. That one, I think that's like $60 or $70, maybe 50. I think that would be your step if you wanted to get something that could make you masks. That's pretty easy to use,
yeah,
with lots of sort of expandability that'll help your brain understand how shaders work. And then you can take that into Blender and start doing crazy stuff. But yeah, real time audio reactive stuff. Touch Designer. Uh, what the one I just said that I forgot the name of because
Magic.
ADHD. Magic. And yeah, Blender. After Effects. There's lots of stuff in After Effects for visualizing the EQ of stuff. You could do that to make mountains move, things like that. So, just visualize what you want to do with the mask and do it with the AI. But there's nothing that's
Yeah,
like I'm going to do it all in one go in AI. It just doesn't exist. You need to make previs basically.
yeah. So I can definitely attest to Magic. I mean, I started using that like a long time before I got into the AI stuff, and if you want to get your head stuck into a node-based system, but it's really simple, then Magic is really straightforward, and yeah, you can download GLS shaders. You can manipulate them based on audio and multiple audio tracks doing multiple different things. So when I saw your tutorial, Purz, using the RGB CMYK mask that technique, we had multiple colors for the mask. So I went straight to Magic, pulled out a bunch of shaders, posterized them to RGB, yeah, and then pull them into the company workflow, and bingo, you've got a really simple way of generating mask. So yeah, Magic. I definitely recommend Magic. And for those of you who find stuff like Touch Designer and Blender a little bit hardcore, but it's a good entry point, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be discouraging about Touch Designer. It's just that Touch Designer is like everything. And you may not need everything to do what you're doing here is all. So like Touch Designer is amazing, but it is dense. So if you just want to make cool visuals, Magic is wicked. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I will put a link to Retropunk. I will, if you just Google it, actually Retropunk, you will definitely find it. It's available on Windows, Mac. I think it runs on Linux as well. So I think there's like a demo version that you can get as well. I had a question for you, Purz, which is okay. So all of us know that the world of AI is pretty much, it's never static, right? There's always a new tool or a paper or there's Sora, people teasing us about different things coming along, but it seems to change. I'd say like at least every week, right? There's always something new. Do you ever feel like you need to keep up with that change, or are you sort of happy honing your skills on a particular set of tools?
I gotta try everything when it comes out. It's a compulsion. So I've just kind of weaponized it. Basically, I just way too into this stuff. It's like I gotta try stuff. I gotta see how it fits into different workflows. It's all self-serving really at this point. At some point, there will be too much. There will be too many things. Sometimes there is too many things. Um,
Mm.
but the other thing I would say is things can wait. You don't need to learn everything every day. The day it comes out, someone else is going to get that 200,000 like tweet about the thing that just came out. It doesn't matter. You'll come to the stuff when you come to the stuff, and generally, if you wait, the tools that you go to use when you go to try it out are a lot easier to use because they've been through the iteration of a few, a couple weeks of everybody banging their head against it. So someone's like, screw it, I'm going to build a comfy plugin for all of this. And then, 3 weeks later, trying that thing is way easier than trying it 3 weeks ago. So yeah, there's value in just not jumping on board of everything. That's why I like Pinocchio, because I can just try it. If it doesn't work, I just delete it, try it again later.
Right. Okay. Well, part B to that then is, of the most recent sort of things that you've been dipping your toe into, has anything stood out for you? Anything which has sort of like made you go, I might be able to use this one day?
Oh yeah. Have you guys seen the spline stuff? There's a new workflow on Banadoko where you can edit with splines, and then it'll follow the motion of at least 3 objects in your scene.
Huh.
So it's like somebody's like catching a burrito or catching a taco, or like yeah. Chris has just dropped one. It's Chris has been doing this for the last 2 days. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, all this stuff, it's all, but it'll all tie together eventually. We'll do these runs, then we'll animate diff them, and they'll get cleaner, and we'll figure out ways to, yeah, it's exciting. I want cats catching bananas all day long. That cat is so sassy when it catches the banana too. It's like, got this, and you didn't.
Yeah, it's Sushi Cat all over again. It's just going to be Banana Cat, right? Definitely. Okay, all right. And also, whilst we're waiting for some other questions, I have a techie nerdy one, and you've kind of answered it for me earlier on, but maybe for everyone else, what's your setup? Because I actually watch your streams, and I do wonder. I used to wonder, okay, you've got a 4090, you're running something fast because you seem to get through your renders fairly quickly, but what is it that you're running?
It's just i5 with 3090. The 3090 is what lets me stream. I try not to go over 21 gigs of VRAM in my like usage, but yeah, I tried to stream on my 3070 and it was not happening. So, um, I guess my advice on that was I couldn't afford one either, so I bought a used one. And you can do the same thing. Facebook Marketplace exists. Um, get as much VRAM as you can afford if you want to do this stuff. That's basically the sort of crux of it. If speed isn't as important as just being able to do the thing.
Yeah, and
4090s are
and
great, but they're too much money. It's like half a used car.
yeah, definitely, and buy as much cooling as you can afford as well.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're
yeah.
gonna cook.
The VRAM gets hot, and the stuff that we do takes VRAM. So yeah, that's another important thing. Honestly get the card with the best fans, because you're gonna need that VRAM to get cool. Because if it pops, that's it. Card's done.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying to Purz earlier on that, like him, I'm sitting in a cube of an office in my house, and my GPU is running at 80 Celsius pretty much for
Mhm.
9 hours a day. So it's I'm losing weight rapidly just sitting here. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, man. I really appreciate it. I know it's a bit of a nerdy question, but it's always worth
Oh no,
asking.
yeah, no.
Uh,
People are often wonder that because, yeah, you don't really need a beastly machine to do this stuff. You just need you need a good GPU, really. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you looked at the work of on Twitter, he's Art on Tap, and on
Hmm.
Discord, he's Adam. Yeah, um, he's doing really high quality renders, and I think he's got like a 12 gig
Yep.
card. And,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's one of the most patient guys I've ever met. He'll just wait, which is something that
Plus,
I like.
one of the nice things about Animate Diff is you can start low and then you can do tiled upscaling that looks fantastic. It just takes longer. So VRAM is really less of an issue if if you have patience. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, nice. So at this moment then, like in the last week, what are you drawing your inspiration from? Are there any like creators or artists that you're sort of inspired by right now?
Yeah, I follow and am friends with a lot of video artists, and I just obsessed with everybody's work lately. Everybody's just been killing it. The advent of these new tools has been so exciting. Have you guys seen Paul Trillo's Sora video for Washed Out song? The Washed Out music video? It's the first music video by Sora. Well, not by Sora, it's by Paul, but he used Sora. Really cool video. Really excited about that. Um, he really leaned into what Sora is good at, and then the strong narrative just drove the whole thing, literally. Um, Drove the whole video. Like, I think in weaker hands, Sora could make a really bad music video. You know, the sort of text to video, image to video, or text to video sort of stock video thing that's happening a little bit with the more professional tools is kind of disheartening. I like weird stuff. So I just love that he embraced the weird. Loved Orlear, Frank Manzano. That's another one. Loved Orlear, I think, on Twitter. Pixel Pusher, Jeru. Everything he does is amazing. He's here too. Who else? I mean, everybody. Syntax Diffusion. I can't say enough good things about all the people that I'm lucky enough to hang out with. You know, it's a very cool scene.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I must admit, I was the only reason I bought a machine or that I built a machine to do AIR was I came across a video by like a secretive bunch called Sagans. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they rarely sort of go on camera. I think that at least there's two of them are French, and they produced a video for Diane Wood, and blew me away. I mean, utterly, I was like, this must be magic. You know, how do these guys do this? And when I dug deeper, it was something that I could do on my PC. So that's the reason why I went ahead and then tried it. And then those guys and women are doing more and more music videos and getting more and more shows. Oh, there it is, the Age of Illusion. If you haven't seen that is a trippy video, but you'll recognize like the technology that they used. And they've gone on to do other stuff, but it's yeah. And when I'm hunting around on Banadoko and on the Forum animation channel, there's just so much stuff, which is I'm left with my jaw hanging down, thinking, how did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty special. So there is a question. So this is from Dreys. It says, do you think we would get a direct render engine in 3D like for Blender eventually? See it generate from the depth and color buffers quickly as I edit a 3D scene. So real-time 3D rendering.
Yes, yes, but as far as I understand, the bottleneck there is actually the depth map. Like doing like control net real time is not really a thing. As far as I know, Dot Simulate might have other thoughts on that. He's done a lot more testing than I have, but it's my understanding that control net would be the problem there. Um, but if it was like a straight image to image, it would be fast enough, I think, to do that. If we can get real time control net, or if it already exists, then the sky's the limit there, right?
RT control net. I'm sure someone's working on it.
Looks like we're about
As
to get
we
an
speak.
answer.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
Of course he
what I'm
did.
waiting
Yeah, of
for.
course he did. Of course he did.
Just sitting
That's
back waiting for
hilarious.
someone to answer that. Yeah, it definitely is. Yes, it is hilarious.
Uh,
So
we didn't plan
another
that,
one.
by the way. That looked planned as hell. It was not.
So I'm curious as to whether or not you've had an opportunity to dig into the Deforum comfy nodes. Mix, who's the main developer on that, is on this call. So um, you might want to share what you think if you've had a chance to give it a go.
Yeah, I tried it twice, and then I thought I already use automatic level 11 for Deforum, so I don't see the point of switching over to Comfy for Deforum. Yeah, it's easier for me to keep them separate from my years of automatic level 11 Deforum stuff. So Yeah, for me, it wasn't for me, and it's not a fault of the nodes at all. The setup is great, everything's fine. It's a fault of the way Comfy deals with batches. Comfy just doesn't. It's not designed for batches, so it's amazing that they got it to work in the first place. It's cool, and anyone who enjoys it, go nuts because it's really cool. But for me, it's just faster to work in the sort of UI that I'm used to for that. That's all.
I like the way that he's sort of, he's using the auto cue like facility to sort of, he's like hijack that to simulate that frame by frame,
Yeah,
keyframing sort of concept.
yeah, absolutely. It's so wonderful that it works. Yeah, that's a tough one. Comfy just sucks at loops.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, how others are getting on with it, because it's actually on the Discord server, on the Deorum one. There's a lot of healthy chat about it, so there's definitely people, getting into it. And I think obviously what it does open up is that because it's in Comfy, then you can plug in other stuff, right? Which is where where automatic kind of falls down. It was never designed
Hmm.
for that, right? It was never designed to insert stuff into your pipeline. Um, but
Yeah,
I'm
you'd have to
sure
make
people are going
a
to start.
whole custom node for it and learn Python and do the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so whilst we haven't other people, please feel free to jump in and get some questions, or else you're going to hear all of mine. That's just not a problem. Okay, so here's another one for you then, Purz. Imagine imagine the following: you've been washed up on a desert island, and all you've got with you is your 3090 PC. And there's a note on that PC saying you are allowed to install a single piece of software to keep you occupied during your time on this island. What would you choose and why?
Uh, One.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, man. Probably would have to be Chrome.
just Chrome.
Yeah, I would need fresh information.
Okay, I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that there's no internet either.
Oh well then yeah, then I'm totally screwed. I'm screwed anyway then because I can't get models. So I don't want Comfy. That's brutal. Imagine having it and not being able to connect to anything. No,
Someone's written
no.
Minesweeper.
I'd want whatever application makes the 3090 hot enough to cook eggs on.
Okay, right, fair enough. Got it. Um, yeah, and another one. Blender. So I'm curious as to which came first for you. So were you a Blender animator, and then you felt that Blender was a great way of getting your, masks and objects and stuff into Comfy, or did you use Comfy and think, I can utilize Blender here?
Oh no, Blender. Yeah, no. After Effects, then Blender, but years and years before AI. Yeah, AI came out years and years after I've been already doing this stuff. So it's one of the things I like to talk about as opposed where people think that AI is supposed to be replacing workflows, but it's really augmenting workflows. Like I really think uh, if you choose to think that you're going to be replaced by AI, then you're probably going to go that way. You won't learn any skills. You'll be mad at the AI and et cetera, et cetera. But those of us that are learning how to just incorporate these tools into our day to day and adapt are probably going to do at least a little better. So my advice, I guess, is uh, embrace what these tools do well and cut some of the crust out of your daily stuff. Like as soon as you can UV unwrap stuff with AI, I will never do it again in Blender. Never again. I hate it. Um, and if there's a tool for it, I'm going to use it. So I really think that's the mindset you need to have with these tools going forward. Is it's not a replacement for you; it's a replacement for something you don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Grunt
I like that.
work,
Yeah, definitely. It's all tools, right? It's all
hmm
tools.
and you
Um,
engage with those tools at the point that you want. That's the thing. You can go straight text to image and say I made this, and it's a text prompt, and it's an image that was generated by AI. Or you can mix in a bunch of sources and your own work and your own thing, draw some stuff, mask out some stuff, make some stuff, make an animation from that, and that's a completely different thing. So there's levels to this stuff, basically.
Cool.
So
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. And there's a question on this actually from Corey Reeve. You're saying, what's your favorite way of incorporating Blender into your workflows?
Oh, making masks, making animated shaders, making 3D objects, scenes. Sorry, pardon me. Blocking out stuff and then dreaming over it. Yeah, there's so many cool things to do with Blender.
And are most of the animations that we're seeing on the screen right now, are these based on Blender masks?
This one, yeah, these ones, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's just a geometry nodes cube trick in Blender, and then we're just dreaming over it.
I'm mesmerized. If I go silent for 15 minutes, it's because I'm staring at them. Thanks for that one. And also, yeah, any advice? Humans put something in here. Any advice for artists, creators in the space? I mean, I guess I was thinking that a similar question, which is advice for how to get started, advice for how people can go about like progressing and increasing their skills.
You will notice that a lot of artists will find one thing that hits and then make that their entire personality. I caution you against that early on in your career. I would say try everything. Uh, it's not worth just putting yourself into a tiny little box because a certain segment of the population liked that thing that one time. Make stuff that you would never even think to make. Like, make the weirdest stuff you can possibly think of and show it to people. Don't keep it on your hard drive. Little secrets don't help anybody. Um, Show it to people, and take criticism. You know, uh, usually, well, take criticism you asked for. Don't take criticism you didn't ask for, unless you really respect the person, because everybody's got an opinion, and a lot of those opinions are stupid. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
just say, yeah, just be yourself and try stuff, and don't worry about trying to hit, because you trying to hit is so desperate and will never work. You will hit when you hit, if you're gonna hit, and if you don't, who gives a shit? You should be having fun. If you're not having fun, stop. If you know what I mean, like if this is a way for you to like make money, stop. Just do anything else.
Mm,
Go to school, get a job.
cool.
But
Nice. Like it.
if you have to make stuff, then this is right for you.
And so that reminds me of so there I write a lot of music and I'm not I don't mind admitting this, but I'm not very like musical. I'm not, I don't play instruments. I'm learning the piano, but I'm completely rubbish. But I sort of sit down and I also I can't even think of a tune in my head, right? I can't think of an original tune. I don't sit there and whistle a
Hmm.
tune and then think I need to write it. So the way I work is I'll sit there in front of a blank, Logic session or whatever, and 4 hours later something has emerged, right? And most of that stuff that's emerged has come about through like happy accidents. I'll
Hmm.
try something that I didn't intend and it's the seed for something incredible, right? And
Yeah.
that's and I feel like that's one of the draws of initially when well, with Deorum and Comfy and all the AI stuff, because a lot of it you don't know what's going to happen, right? You
Hmm.
actually there's this inherent unpredictable nature to it because of the seeds and the random noise and all that sort of stuff, that you can sort of think about what you want, but you'll get something else, and sometimes what you do get is awesome that you never intended. Does
Hmm.
does, does that sing to you at all? Because I know that you've got a musical background as well. Do you go through those sorts of processes too? Happy accidents?
Absolutely. Yeah. I come from. I'm a band leader. I've led many bands. Songwriting in a band. Um, There's two ways to go about it. Either one person writes a whole song, which happens. Some people are just like that. They write the whole song, they bring it to the band, they present it, they tell you your parts, you do your thing. What has happened more often is in the bands that I'm in, these sort of collaborative jams happen. You record the jams and then you sit down and you listen to them and you go, oh, that part's cool, that part's cool. And then you just start grabbing stuff and putting it together and taking the stuff that's trash and throwing it away. And I think that process lends itself to music production, it lends itself to motion graphics, it lends itself to procedural modeling, lends itself to generative art, lends itself to AI art, it lends itself to all this cool stuff that we're into. And there's many ways to get to a result. I am not a plan it out, take the path and land there kind of guy. I am
Right.
a walk all the way around the bush, take a bunch of photos, then come back and make a cool photo collage out of the photos, draw a narrative through them, and then make myself an animation out of that. So I think it just depends how your brain works. And some of the best collaborations I've ever done is where a person like me and a person like who can see stuff, everything ready to go, work together. That kind
Mm.
of kinship is really fun because you're basically capable of executing someone else's vision if you can, if you can combine those skills. So figure out how you work and figure out who you want to work with and collaborate with people and see how it works. Yeah.
So speaking of collaboration, have you had much opportunity to collaborate with other AI artists or content creators?
I've been having guests on my podcast or on my show every. I'm trying to do it every week, but uh, life comes into stuff. But yeah, I've been really enjoying that and seeing what they're getting up to and sharing workflows and seeing their perspective on these tools and things like that. And then like artistically, the people I like to collaborate with the most are artists, analog visual, like analog video artists, because I like to give them a bunch of AI footage for them to run through their rigs and sort of turn into, CRT analog gooey awesome stuff. Because like I love that bridge of the new AI stuff plus the old technology, and
Mm.
I don't have all that stuff at my place, but basically, yeah, that's my favorite thing is mixing the new with the old and manufacturing some nostalgia. So um my favorite collaborations are with analog visual artists, analog video artists, for sure.
Yeah, that must make for an interesting marriage then, right? Having those two worlds collide like that.
Hmm.
Definitely. It's kind of like, everyone went from analog synthesizers to digital, and now everyone wants the dirt and grit of analog back again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
and
only so
it's
much
one of those
depth.
things you just can't replicate it. Like you can make it look like that, but there's nothing like running some electricity through some circuits.
So, a couple more questions then. There's two which are related actually. Like one is like the role of social media in your life, and the other one is do you think social media, chasing algorithms, likes, etc., is dangerous to creativity? Is there any way you could answer both of those at the same time? The role of
Yeah.
social media in your life and what it does in terms of creativity.
Used to use social media for validation. That's not social media's role in your life. Uh, Now I just use it to share stuff with people. Sometimes people see it, sometimes they don't, and it is no reflection on how good your content was or what the algorithm says. It's just a combination of things. Sometimes things hit, sometimes things don't hit. 90% of the time things don't hit. Spent 18 whatever 2012 whatever years on Twitter, however long I've been on Twitter, not hitting. Only in the last 6 months, 7 months I've started to get like a lot of likes on my tweets and things like that. So it's a slow grind and you cannot let it get you down because nobody sees your stuff. It's not a question of people not liking it or going out of their way to not look at it. They are not seeing your posts. Anything you post, you need to post maybe 10 times for a chance at your whole audience of seeing it. I guess my role was where my relationship with social media has been, now it's I just use it as a bullhorn. I'm doing this cool thing. I made this cool thing. Check it out or don't. I don't give a crap. And the people that give a crap stick around. The people that don't give a crap, the haters, they leave. They unfollow you. And honestly, feel good about that because anybody who unfollows you was not rooting for you in the first place. Who cares? You'll find your audience, just make stuff and post it and talk to people. That's the other thing is replying to people and actually, being present. I'm not good at replying to comments, but I try to like them all and, you know, show everybody I'm around. But the people that are sitting there and responding to every comment, everything gets pushed for them. So it's definitely
Mm.
something to consider is just to be more social on social media if you're going to use social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Just be more social.
Yeah, or just, when you see something you like it and then just say, "Hey, that's really cool." It's nothing. It takes a second out of your day.
Yeah,
It's and honestly, a lot of us probably know how it feels when you see those comments, you're having a bad day. You look down at your phone, someone's like, "This is really cool." It's like, "All right, life sucks a little less right now." That's kind of cool. So, yeah, use it for that kind of validation, not my work isn't hitting, so it's not good. That's not the correct kind of validation from social media. Just make some relationships, make some friends. That's
yeah.
that's what it's good for.
So that reminds me, I read a book last year. It's called "Show Your Work" by a guy called Austin Kleon, and it's just basically about, if you're in that creative space where you're doing art or whatever it is, then just share your process. Don't worry so much about the end product that you built, but
Yeah,
share how you did it.
people
And
love work in progress. People love it.
yeah,
Share
yeah,
your work in progress. Show people what you're doing, how you're doing it. Process is cool. Process is
yeah.
fun.
And I think that's what people learn from, right? By seeing
Hmm.
how you're doing it rather than what it is that you've done.
Yep.
And that's where, to me, that's where the true like creativity is. I mean, the end product is important to the observer, but the pain and the accidents and the tribulations and joys you go through getting there are sometimes worth more than the end result.
Hmm. And
Definitely.
sometimes
Okay.
those failed results are still cool. There's no reason not to post them if it's a cool result. Maybe not what you wanted, but I mean, half the stuff we're looking at right now, I've never used. Nobody's ever seen this stuff. It's all in a folder of stuff I've never released. It's definitely worthy of being released. I just never did.
Do it.
Well, I had too much
So
now. That's the other thing is I make way too much stuff. Way too much stuff.
yeah, what do you do with it all?
I just look at it.
Do you ever delete anything?
No, absolutely not. Just keep
Okay.
buying hard drives.
So we're gonna wrap up with a couple last final questions. We've had an hour, which is which is great. We're still going strong. So a couple of last questions.
Sure.
Humans put in any life advice plus personal
Um,
shout outs.
the only life advice I can give is uh, people who squash joy, you need to get away from them as soon as you can. People that just crap on everything, people that hate everything. You got a friend that's always telling you how awful the latest so and so record is. Walk away. That mentality will just absolutely seep into your brain. I had to leave a few places over the years I've been in where just the community is just, I don't know. When everybody hates on everything and they can't see the positive in anything, that seeps into your life and it starts to make you feel bad about the stuff you make and things like that. So I would say surround yourself with people that give a crap about you. Surround yourself with people that are interested in the things they're interested in. Chase enthusiasm, chase enthusiastic people. There's really nothing worse than just a joy killer, and yeah, it's the that will just leave a leave a mark on everything that you do. If you're always putting it through the lens of what that person's going to think about it, you can never do anything fun. You know what I mean? Because there's always this looming. Though that guy's going to think it's cringe. Who cares? That guy's not
Yeah,
making anything. Doesn't matter.
nice. Thanks for that, Purz. And one final question, and we've had an hour, which is awesome. Why Purz?
Oh, it's part of
You
my
don't
name.
have to answer it if it's deeply personal, obviously. You
No,
can
it's
just
not.
pass.
It's just part of my name.
Okay.
Part of my real life name. Just one little chunk of it. So yeah, worked out.
Damn, no, we should put we should ask people to guess what your real life name is. with the letters Purz in there. Purzville. There we go. Okay, well, we are going to wrap this one up. Any closing shout outs, Purz? Anyone you want to say thanks to, or before we close this up?
There's way too many people. Everybody, everyone I've had on as guests, everyone I've met in this community, everyone on this server, everyone on Banadoko, everyone on my server, all the Patreons, all the supporters, everybody who leaves me nice messages, say they enjoyed a video, they learned something, it makes me feel amazing. Just big shout outs to literally everybody I encounter because I just don't meet that many jerks. So yeah, we've been real lucky lately. So yeah, this community's great. So literally shout out to everybody. Shout out to
Great.
everybody. And Civitai too. I mean, that's a crazy thing they're doing too, providing all the workflows and models and everything for everybody. It's got to be a lot of bandwidth. So, just shout out to all the people that make this stuff possible. Really. And all the developers, all the comfy developers, like all the people that make all the plugins that we use. Like these workflows don't do anything without the custom nodes we're utilizing. Yeah, this is a group effort. So thanks to everybody.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Purz. So we have reached the end. Purz, thank you. Really appreciate your time and speaking so eloquently and answering everybody's questions. It's been a pleasure.
Oh well, yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
And hopefully this is just one of several or many. We're going to try and line up some other creators as well for you all to tune into and listen and have your questions answered. In the meantime, we've put some of Purz's social contacts in the chat. There's a link to his Discord server, his YouTube channel. You can just go to Purz XYZ. I will never say the other letter. You can go to Purz
here too.
XYZ and you can find more stuff there. And keep an eye on his channel. He's always streaming, and you will always be learning if you tune into him. So we're going to wish you all a good night, and until the next one, have a good evening or morning or afternoon. Thanks, Purz.
Thank you.
See you
Have a
all.
good night, everybody. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye bye.